Hi, everyone. I'm Coach DuQuesa Dean. And today on Safe Space Conversations, we are talking about why women can choose what success means to them. Long gone are the days when women should be forced to have a particular career or a particular path because it is what is expected of them. And that could be the expectation of their parents, the expectation of their peers, the expectation of their family. It doesn't matter. Hey there, Billy. So nice to see you again. Thank you for always joining our sessions. And I can tell you that after coaching for, and women specifically, for over 20 years, I'm proud to say that women are becoming more courageous and more liberated. They are defining what success means to them, and they are then aligning their lives accordingly. Women are successful entrepreneurs, successful business executives, successful support staff, successful stay at home moms. Like women have, over the years, taken the opportunity to choose what makes them happy. And it would be great to see many other women embrace the courage to do exactly that. And, it's always a great thing for me to witness my clients transform their lives and transform it from living in overwhelm to actually taking ownership of their lives. Like living in overwhelm is somewhat of a routine lifestyle. But taking ownership of your life means that you're taking consistent action, daily consistent action, and making decisions that are directing the path of your life. We live in overwhelm when we focus on meeting the expectations of other people, and overwhelm can actually manifest in our lives in many different ways. Now, if you can think of any ways that overwhelm is manifested in women's lives, drop a comment in chat and let me know how you see it manifesting. Now, overwhelm can manifest in a number of ways, such as the amount of debt we accumulate to live like the Joneses. And this often leaves us living paycheck to paycheck and sometimes living in a deficit. Another way living in overwhelm can manifest is by the stress of getting college educated when you would prefer to be technically certified. There are so many technical jobs that women are dominating in. And sadly, many women are still pursuing college educations because it is what is expected of them. The third way that overwhelm can manifest in our lives is by getting married and having kids because there's this age deadline. I don't know how society has been so successful in dictating that by a certain age we should be married, by a certain age we should have kids, by a certain age we should do this, we should do that. And we cave into the pressure of society, which can leave us living in overwhelm, particularly if we really aren't ready to start a family life. The fourth way, and this is the last way that I'm going to touch about how overwhelm can manifest in our lives, is the amount of anxiety we have to face every single day when we get up. And I want to tell you a short little story here of where I lived with overwhelm for one complete year of my life filled with anxiety. And I vividly, as I sit in the chair today, can still remember this so clearly. I remember when the vice president of a division that I worked for resigned and I got a new boss. And I absolutely loved working for my initial vice president because she was empowering. She valued your contribution. She asked for your input. And it was a culture that made it easy and happy to function in. But my new boss was quite the opposite. And this was many years ago. And I remember my new boss being someone that micromanaged heavily, that knocked down your ideas and suggestions, that actually undermined my ability as a leader to lead the people who reported directly to me. This had me so sad. I went to work every day feeling like there was a burden on my shoulder or blocks of concrete just resting on my shoulder because I had to deal with this boss who just did not have the correct principles of effective leadership. And so, for one complete year, every business morning that I got up, I gave myself a pep talk to go to work. What eventually happened is that I eventually left that particular division and went to work in another division at the same organization. But I recognized that it was not good for my health to continue to work with a female boss who lacked empathy, who was afraid of talent, and who really tried to keep you stifled. I felt like I was living in overwhelm. And so I got to the place where I said, enough is enough. And I am so glad that there are many other women who are doing the exact same thing. They're getting to the place where they are saying, enough is enough. And I'm using the story of personal story of mine to illustrate that we can actually go from living in overwhelm to a place of living life on our own terms. Today, I'm living what I've defined as a successful life. And success to me is the ability to put my family first. There will no longer be jobs that demand that I sacrifice my family because that is not what I think success is. And success is personal to every individual. So the ability to put my family first is my number one priority. And I believe that I'm living a successful life because I get to choose what projects bring me the most joy and work on those particular projects. We often believe that we don't have the power to live the lives we truly want to. We neglect the fact that decisions direct destinies, and it is our decisions that will ultimately lead us to or lead us away from our happiness. You have to be so grounded in who you are, what your values are, what your beliefs are, and the vision that you have for your life. Because when you are grounded in those principles, you can stand on that solid foundation and find the courage to stop living in overwhelm and start taking ownership of your dreams. Now, as we get into today's conversation, if anything at all resonates with you, please let me know. I'd appreciate your comments and feedback so that we could deepen this conversation with your thoughts and ideas. So let's go ahead and get started with our conversation today. Now, at a time when traditional gender roles are shifting and our ideas of success are diversifying, it is important that we remember we have the power to choose our own paths and still be successful. Yes, many women take the beaten path and are successful, and we celebrate them. At the same time, I think we ought to also celebrate women who are taking the non traditional paths and choosing what success looks like to them. Now, for some people, success could be, and in the past, it has typically been reaching the highest level of a corporate ladder, or it could be achieving financial freedom and independence and having a well established career. However, success is more fluid and flexible, diverse than ever before. Let's talk about it. For many women, there is like no greater satisfaction than being a parent and providing in depth support for their families. I love being a mom. I love having the interaction with my now adult children and have a great sense of satisfaction that the greatest role that I could ever fill is the role of being a parent. And you know what? It's okay for many women who have decided that that's their primary focus, that they don't want to pursue corporate success. And they want to prioritize attending school events. They want to go to school games. They want to go to projects that the kids are having at school. They want to volunteer at the library. They want to help with homework because this role can be just as important as a high income bracket role. The difference you make in the world through parenting is actually priceless. There is no price that you can put on being a good, effective parent and helping to raise children who are well adjusted, confident, and who are assured of who they are and what they want. And so, stay at home moms provide great value to the world, because success isn't just limited to professional accomplishments. There are countless other ways that we can embrace our passion and still find fulfillment and growth. This could be taking on freelance projects. This could be starting an online business or simply just exploring a hobby. What is important, though, is that we stay true to our authentic needs. Changing tradition is difficult. And sometimes it's scary to go against the grain. But changing those traditional views of what success means for a woman means that we're finding space for more women to find their voices and carve out a path that works best for them. We can all be fulfilled in our lives. We can all be happy in our lives in whatever way we choose, provided we are willing to work for it. Now, another way of redefining success could be someone who is a philanthropist who wants to volunteer their time and dedicate their life to working with charity organizations, outreaches, community groups. I mean, there is such satisfaction in helping other people. And it may not be that six-figure salary that somebody else is making, but the difference that you're making in the world is helping you to feel fulfilled. And once you feel fulfilled, that in and of itself represents success. Success isn't just measured by money, it is also found in the lives that we impact. Years later, when somebody comes back and says, because of you, I was able to turn my life around, because you did A, B, and C. It made such a difference in my life, and I was able to give my kids what they needed because of the way that you impact somebody's life and how you help to build community. You can be termed a success. I want to call upon you today to rethink what success looks like and to open your mind to the possibilities, both professionally and personally. It doesn't matter how big or small that is. There is strength in resilience and joy, tremendous joy in embracing the path that we take and being proud of who we are at every single stage in our lives. Hi, Louise. Hi, Neela. Thank you guys so much for being here today. So it's important to remember that diversity and inclusion goes much further beyond gender roles. It's also about allowing every single person to be authentic, to be their authentic self without judgment or shame. So, whether you're trying to climb the corporate ladder or you're focused on being a stay at home mom or you're making a difference in your community, all of these things are acceptable and okay. It's about finding what works for you, staying true to what your authentic needs are. Now, diversity and inclusion have become like the cornerstone of modern businesses. Everyone is talking about diversity and inclusion, and it's everyone getting offered opportunities to feel supported, regardless of their orientation or identity. That should also include personal choice and celebrating the differences, that is essential for creating the atmosphere where every single person can thrive. They can be accepted for who they are and they can thrive because we all have different talents, we all have different goals, we all have different dreams. So let's just continue to provide an environment where everyone can explore their dreams, their goals, their heart's desire without the fear of being judged because they are not taking on traditional roles. Now, I want to talk to you about someone that I admire so much, Jacinta Arden. Now, she is a great example, in my opinion, of someone who's been able to stay true to her authentic needs and achieve tremendous success in her life. Now, if you know who she is, you would know that for many years she was an advocate and political leader and eventually the president of New Zealand. In 2020, she was elected the prime minister, and it made history in her country. But during her tenure, one of the things that Arden focused on was increasing diversity and inclusion in New Zealand by launching initiatives like free education, paid parental leave, and the expansion of state and housing and health services. But Jacinta Ardern also made the decision to step down from her role as Prime Minister of New Zealand in 2023, this very year, citing that her family commitments and her desire to focus on parenting her newborn daughter was a priority for her. Her decision to step down should be the reflection of a modern woman. There's no failure in identifying that your priorities have changed. There's no failure in identifying that your authentic desire is different from a desire that you had years ago. And while she may be blasted and seen as weak for stepping down, that was actually a very courageous thing to do, to put her family first. Because I've never been prime minister of a country, but I do know that leadership is not easy and it comes at a great sacrifice. It is my opinion that her decision is an important reminder to all of us, every single woman, that we can choose our own paths and still be successful in life. She is a testimony that success comes in many forms. Her example should be an inspiration for us to stay true to our authentic needs. Do you have any idea of the courage it took to make a decision to be true to herself in the face of criticism for stepping down and to be labeled weak because she is a woman, simply because her desire to be happy parenting her newborn daughter was more important to her at that particular time in her life, and she did not want to sacrifice her family. Anyway, I celebrate her, and I believe that everyone deserves an equal opportunity at success. No matter who you are, no matter what you do, I encourage you to continue to work towards making what you believe is success in your life a reality. Now, I want to share with you 5 ways to start defining or redefining success on your own terms. The first thing I want to recommend is that you start by committing time to really explore what success means to you. Now, let's just pause for a moment and realize, as well as accept, that we have been brainwashed in many ways. When we were born, we were taught what to believe. We were taught what's religion. We were taught what education was about, the ideals, philosophies, and concepts of our parents were taught to us. And as we grew and learned, many of us adopted what we have been taught. This means that we have to challenge ourselves to really break away from the traditional definitions of success and seek out opportunities that we believe meet our individual needs by reflecting on these questions. What is success? Truly, what is success? What does success mean to me? Not what anybody else defines success as. Secondly, what am I most proud of? What are the things that light you up? When you volunteer, when you're on your job, like what are the things that make you most proud? And then thirdly, how can I use this knowledge to create my own path to success? Those are 3 very powerful questions that can help you really sit down and consider what success means to you. What are the beliefs that are driving you? Because beliefs drive our actions. Secondly, acknowledge that success, no matter how big or how small it is, acknowledge every single success that you've had in your life. As women, we have been taught that we should be sacrificing ourselves for everyone and everything. And so often we are depleted and we are also highly self critical. It is important for us to realize and recognize what tremendous value we bring to our families, we bring to the jobs that we work at, we bring to our inner circle and network, and to begin to celebrate ourselves for those things. Celebrate every single success in your life. Celebrate and appreciate the sacrifice that it took for you to achieve the success that you currently achieve in your life. The third thing I'd like to encourage you to do is to push yourself out of your comfort zones. May I share with you that comfort zones are where dreams die? Absolutely. Dreams die in comfort zones. And let me just see if I can give you an analogy for this. Have you ever been around stagnant water? I mean, it sat in a bucket or a bowl in your yard or somewhere around, and you smell this scent and you're trying to figure out what is this scent? And you eventually trace it to this bucket of water, and you realize that there's an odor coming from this still water. Stagnant water gets stink, it begins to grow mold, insects start to hatch inside of it, and most people, when they find stagnant water, they discard it. It is for this reason that we have to keep ourselves on a journey of personal growth and development. When we stop growing, we become stagnant. And just like that water, when we stay in our comfort zones and stop growing, we begin to get stink. We begin to develop negative attitudes. I'll even go as far as saying stink attitudes. We believe that the world and life is happening to us and that we don't have the power to make the decisions to change the trajectory of our lives. So start taking on projects that challenge you, start reading in books or magazines that stimulate you, start watching documentaries of things that interest you. Just stay in growth mode. The fourth thing I'd like to encourage you to do is to talk to people who have achieved any measure of success. And you want to talk to different type of people. You want to talk to entrepreneurs, corporate people, stay-at-home moms, dads. Like you want to talk to a variety of people who've achieved success in their life. And do you want to know why? They can share with you their best practices. There is nothing better than learning from the experiences of other people so we don't make the same mistakes that they do. So they can provide valuable insights. Listen to podcasts. Listen to this sort of information here. If someone's having a live and you have the opportunity to pop on for a few minutes and listen, you're going to grab valuable insights that you don't even have to pay for that can help you to stay authentic to your needs and your desires. You'll also learn from people what mistakes they made along the journey, and you can eliminate or avoid making the same mistakes, and this will result in you achieving your success faster and more efficiently. Now, the fifth and final thing I'd like to encourage you to do as it relates to redefining success on your term is to set achievable goals. Many of us set goals that are too big. And I want to push you a little bit further, not just set achievable goals, but I want to encourage you to anchor your goals to something. Many of us have New Year's resolutions. Every year for the last 10 years, we've had New Year's resolutions, and they change every single year. Now, changing your goals is not bad. What is bad is if you're changing them and they're not anchored to something. So, my challenge to you is to create a 10-year goal. Create a 10-year goal for yourself and then reverse engineer that goal by breaking down what's required of you in year one, year two, year three, year four, year five, year six, year seven, year eight, year nine, and year 10. This way, you have new goals every year, but those goals are anchored to an even bigger goal. And this is how you allow your life to change the trajectory. You are now being intentional about creating the path or walking the path to the 10-year goal that you've accomplished for your life. And so, as you sit down and think about your goals, make sure that your goals are anchored to something and you're not just randomly, for the sake of goal setting exercises, creating your goals. As I begin to wrap up today, I'd like to encourage you that no matter where you find yourself on your journey, whether you're pursuing a degree or climbing the corporate ladder or you're taking care of your family, I want you to know that you are worthy, you are capable, and you are strong. You are deserving of the happiness that you have identified you want for your life. You have the power to make a difference in this world. And when we show up in the world shining our lights, we illuminate the pathway for other women to follow. When our lights are shining bright, our lights begin to spark off. And it only takes a spark to get a fire going. And if you went to Sunday school, you would know that song. And so, as the sparks begin to fly from you, they will begin to ignite other women and encourage them to pursue their true, authentic desires and to create success in ways that are most meaningful for them. So, go out there and seize your moment. No one can take that away from you. Only you can limit you. And it's time for us to rise up, to come together as society, as community, and recognize that true success comes in many forms. It's not limited to the old traditional ways. Let's continue to lift each other up and to create an environment where everyone is encouraged to pursue their dreams without fear of judgment or limitations. By redefining success on our own terms, we can begin to create more inclusive workplaces and communities where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. Let's continue celebrating diversity and inclusion in all of its forms so that we can truly step into our power. We can stay true to our authentic needs and we can achieve greatness because greatness doesn't require a platform. Greatness doesn't require thousands or hundreds of thousands of people to witness it. Greatness is touching one person every day of your life. Greatness is showing up in your authenticity. Greatness is believing in yourself and living what you truly believe. I believe that together we are stronger. And it's time for us to respect and to lift each other's choices up. We have the power. Now, I hope that you actually enjoyed today's conversation. Yes, that's what I'm talking about, Neela. We have to get rid of that stagnant water ASAP. And Jerlene, stagnant water is dead. Water needs to flow to stay alive and be refreshing. Good morning, Sister Nikki. I'm so happy that you are here with me today. Hey, yes, we have to be the lighthouse. We have to shine our lights. Dr. Michelle, thank you so much for being here today. We all have the capacity to lead by example. Ladies, thank you so much for joining today's conversation. I'll be back next week, Thursday, and I hope to have some amazing guests with me as we talk about Black History Month and begin the journey towards International Women's Day. As women, we have so much to celebrate. We've come a long way, and it's time that we highlight all of the things that we have achieved in this world and give space to every other woman to step into the fullness of who she can be, encourage and support her. So I'll see you next week, Thursday, 12 o'clock, right here on LinkedIn. Take care, guys, and have a great day. Bye.